Okay, so today during the online conference, there are students asking about how to draw a stratigraphic column on this log sheet. So therefore, I'm making this video to show you how to draw the column on this log sheet and using an example of the Unit 1 in Lab 8. So first, let's read through this description. Unit 1 is 100 meters thick. So then it is the first unit. So it starts from the bottom. We need to set up the scale. And you can see each increment is a 5 meter. And then the thickness for this unit over here, thickness is 100 meters and the unit number is 1. Then we will draw the rock column. Now let's take a look at the lithology. Based on the description, we know there are only two types of lithology in this unit. Major deposit is a conglomerate and a minor deposit is sandstone. They're interbeds. And we also know that the conglomerate is 1 to 6 meters thick. So then we know we are going to have alternating beds of conglomerate and the sandstone. And each of the unit is 1 to 6 meters thick. Then overall, we know that the overall unit is upward fining. So upward fining, the conglomerate is ranging from boulder to cobble sizes. Those information we cannot put into drawing, but we can still have a upward fining conglomerate drawing, which is the so the grain size over here, the G represent gravel, and it includes from boulder to granular. So if we need to draw this, I want to use my pencil to draw a top of this unit, just as a mark. And then the grain size, we know that it's from coarse clastic conglomerate to finer clastic conglomerate. So we want to draw a diagonal line showing the conglomerate is fining upward. I'm still using my pencil because there's also sandstone interbeds. So this is just a mark as a guideline when I draw upward fining conglomerate. Okay, and then we know that the conglomerate is fining upward, and there's interbeds, minor interbeds of sandstone, and each conglomerate unit is about 1 to 6 meters. So because one increment is 5 meter, so I'm gonna keep using 6 meter as the thickness of the bed for conglomerate. And what else it says that the erosional basal surface is and a finer grained upper parts. So erosional within one unit beds, there's a erosional surface, and also within one unit there's a fining upward trend. So as long as we finish following this line, we're fine. And then it says maximum size of the clastic is 40 to 60 centimeter at the lower part, and the decrease to 30 to 40 to the top part. That's the same saying it's fining upward. We can draw the fining upward trend we can illustrate the fining upward trend. However, we cannot state the precise grain size. We can add those to the notes. So the purpose of drawing this stratigraphic column is to use graph and symbols to show as much information as possible. So when the extra information we cannot show on this drawing and a sketch, we need to put into the notes. Okay, now let's start to draw. So I'm gonna leave the lithology the last. Let's start with the grain size because it's an interbedding. There's interbedding, so the lithology gonna follows the texture of interbeds. Okay, so first there's a erosional surface. Okay, I'm following this pencil diagonal line, and the thickness is about 6 meter. And then because the major deposit the conglomerate, so I could have 2 beds of conglomerate, then have interbeds of sandstone. So this is 1 unit of conglomerate, and then I'm drawing another unit of conglomerate. And then I want to have an interbed of sandstone on top of that. So if it's a sandstone on top, then the upper contact cannot be erosional surface. So I'm gonna draw a line. So, and then the next bed is sandstone. Sandstone, I want to have a very coarse sand because in sandstone beds it is supposed to have a fining upward trend as well. So sandstone bed here. Oh, and on top of that, I'm planning to have another unit of conglomerate. So it's gonna be a erosional surface. Conglomerate is gonna need higher energy than depositing sandstone. Therefore, when I have a conglomerate on top of sandstone, the depositional energy increased, then it developed an erosional surface. Lithology over here, we're gonna have conglomerate. And there are 2 beds, so and being within conglomerate is fining upward as well. So and then the next unit is sandstone. Then I want to have a finer sandstone on top of that. So that should be a finer sandstone. And then erosional contact on the top. Okay, so we can keep drawing this to the top with alternating beds of a major deposit of a conglomerate and then interbedded with sandstone. And overall, they are following a fining upward trend. And those places with sandstone, I can just erase the pencil marks like this. Okay, so now we finished drawing the lithology and the grain size and texture, grain sizes. So we know that it is conglomerate with minor sandstone and overall fining upward. We all have the information in drawing, but for the texture, that it is a class supported, well organized boulder, and those are the things we cannot express on this sketch. We're gonna write it down later in this note area. So then we need to think about the structures, what type of structure it has. So the mostly is it's horizontally, crudely horizontally stratified. So it has some stratification, but crudely means it's weakly stratified. The stratification is not very clear, so we're gonna use some broken lines as a stratification. Crudely stratification like this. Okay, and also there's it also says imbricate, so there's also imbrication, and we can just draw imbrications on the conglomerate. So imbrications is very common. We can draw more of it. You don't have to fill up all the entire beds for the purpose. And then the rest we can have imbrication. Stratification. Okay, so now we can see that the conglomerate contain imbrication and crudely stratification. I think that's all, and sometimes the conglomerate is almost massive, but most of the time it's crudely stratified. Okay, so then the part we cannot draw with the information we missed, then we can put it into remarks. So structures, we can also say that this is not exactly structure, but we can still write down that bottom couple conglomerate class is 40 to 60 centimeter collapsed, and the top is 30 to 40 centimeter collapsed, like that. And then saying they are class supported. Okay, I think that's all the lithology, texture, and the structure information described within the description, and we used this sketch illustrated all of this descriptive information. The other thing very important for any drawing, not only a stratigraphic column, for any drawing in geology is legend. So in this case, in this unit, the legend we need to draw is first a lithology, conglomerate. So we say conglomerate. And then we have sandstone. And then the texture we have used. I think that would be all for the drawing for first unit.